Hi guys, Chris Dubois. I want to talk about my book, Chapter 3, My Future Wife Revealed, from my book, Dating with Discernment, Navigating the Modern Dating Scene with God's Guidance. You can purchase this on Amazon. So I just want to do a little recap. The first chapter I talked about my bad dating experience. The next chapter, Chapter 2 in this book, I talked about a better approach to dating, and how a couple friendships I had gone very smoothly for me in applying biblical principles, and I had taken an approach that was much wiser and saved myself much foolishness and heartbreak. In this chapter, I want to talk about my future wife being revealed to me and how God was in that process. So here I was in seminary at this point. I had graduated from my bachelor's degree. I was getting my master's degree at Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary in South Hamilton, Massachusetts. I was studying hard to get good grades, to learn, to grow in knowledge, to fulfill the calling and the destiny God had for my life. I didn't want to be distracted with women. I didn't want to date just for dating's sake. Again, the approach I had learned that was a much better approach was just develop friendships with girls, and once I sensed that this person could be possibly Lord's will for me, the one he had as a perfect matchmaker selected for me, I would then date for the purpose of marriage. And there was no girls there that I had sensed and felt the leading of the Holy Spirit to pursue. So I just busied my life with friendships with the guys and ministry and schoolwork, etc. So here I was going throughout school, and during the summers I would teach at my home church. And I remember teaching one summer on relationships, quite ironically, because I was a single man and I was in my young 20s, but I was teaching on relationships. Didn't know a lot, but I knew what the Bible taught on it, so I just taught from the scriptures. And I remember toward the end of the class, I think it was like a 12-week class, 10 or 12-week class. This girl walked in, and I caught her. She caught my eye because she was very physically attractive and beautiful. But also I sensed the Holy Spirit come on me, and basically I sensed and felt the words that she was going to be my future wife. I believed that so strongly, I looked at my mother who was beside me and I said, that woman is my wife. She will be my wife one day. And my mother laughed at me and I don't blame her. I mean, that was pretty sporadic. But I just sensed that and felt that he had revealed that to me. So I remember after the class meeting her, introducing myself. Her mom was there, and I had asked her if she wanted to hang out with me and a bunch of friends afterwards. I am a little bold, and I can be a little brazen at times, and a little just a go-getter when I really want something and I feel God in something. So she had said no that night. She couldn't. But the following week we did. We ended up hanging out, and we hung out with a bunch of friends. That's what I'd recommend when you're getting to know someone from the opposite sex. Go to group dates. And it actually wasn't a date. We were just hanging out, but it was a bunch of friends involved. It wasn't like it was late at night and we were alone or anything. And we just hung out and we had a wonderful time and we started talking. And I remember saying to God, if this is truly the one for me, the wife that you have for me, then make that clear. And I threw out a fleece like Gideon did in the book of Judges. And I threw out a fleece and I said, God, if she truly is the one for me, show me, give me a sign, give me a fleece. And I do believe God can speak this way as long as our hearts are pure and our motives are pure and asking God for this, that God can confirm through fleeces or signs that we are in fact doing his will. And God honors that. He doesn't always work in that way, but he can, and it's biblical. It's in the book of Judges. But anyways, so moving on. So I said, God, if she's truly the one, let her bring up marriage. Let her initiate the subject, not me. And let her tell me that she wants a husband that loves her like Christ loved the church and gave up his life for her. And may she bring up what she wants from me as a future husband is a 1 Peter 3, 1 through 7, what she wants to be toward me as a future wife, which is a wife with a gentle, quiet spirit who has a beautiful heart. And so this is what my prayer was. May both of these things be brought up and may she initiate it. Now, let me rewind just a little bit. A few months before I met her that summer, a woman had called me. She operates in the gift of prophecy. We hadn't talked for years. She called me up. She said she was praying for me, and she said God had told her to call me and to deliver this message. She told me that my future wife was coming, to write down exactly what I wanted her to be toward me and me toward her, and that when the time came, God would make it clear, and that she was coming soon. So when I met this girl a few months later, I said, man, I think this is the woman that woman who called me and prophesied that over me. I think she's the one. So that's why I had written it down, what I wanted her to be toward me and what I wanted to be toward her. And I just prayed that it would be brought up that first time we hung out and she would initiate it. So I remember we hung out that night, and sure enough, she brought up marriage. She brought up what she wanted from a future man, husband. Is an Ephesians 5:25 husband, about Christ, him loving her like Christ loved the church and gave up his life for her. And I'm like, yes, this is amazing. This is incredible. But here's the thing. She didn't bring up the 1 Peter 3 part. So the whole night's dragging on, and I'm all like depressed and discouraged, and I'm talking silently to God saying, come on, let her bring the other one. I thought for sure she was the one, and I started to second guess that perhaps it was the tacos I ate the night before. It wasn't really the voice of God I had heard, and maybe it was a demon, and I'm just going off in my head and analyzing everything to death like I typically do. So here we are, we're going throughout the night, and I end up taking her home that night and dropping her off, and I'm just depressed and discouraged and disappointed. And as I pull out of the driveway, she says, stop, and she runs to the car, and she says, I want to share something with you, just wait here. She runs back into her house, she comes out with a bookmark. In that bookmark is 1 Peter 3, 1 through 6, and what she wants to be toward her future husband, about a gentle, quiet, spirited woman with a beautiful heart. And I knew at that very moment God had answered my prayer, showed me the sign, showed me the fleece, and that she was God's will for my life. We ended up dating shortly after. Within 4 months, we were engaged, and 8 months later, we were married. Hope this story blesses you guys. God bless you.